Hello, 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 everybody. We are doing a reaction today, but I wanted to go ahead and hang out for a little bit first. And I hope this new webcam is better for you guys. I'm really excited. I got this webcam for $6. I know it's not still like the most amazing thing, but it's better than the built-in one on my laptop. It has a built-in light, so I feel like the lighting's a little bit better. So yeah, hello, everyone. I'm sorry about the way the last live ended. I'm going to wait a second for the chat to kind of roll in and people to get here, and I'll kind of briefly explain. I did make a community tab post. I just had to kind of take a beat real quick. I got something really disappointing that happened, and I had to handle it off stream. And it's been handled. So we are going to move on past that, but I wanted to kind of give time for people to show up, and we have my mods here. Hello. And I do have it on subscriber only mode as well. So I'm really excited. We are going to be doing a reaction to the Michelle McDaniel video. So definitely make sure you guys go over there on your own time if you have not already seen it. Make sure you like the video, and subscribe to her if you'd like to. I think you should. I love her content. Hi JJ, hi Ozzy, hi Britt, hi Brooke. And again, I would like to thank David F for renewing your membership or joining your membership. I think you're a new member. Yes, it says new member. So thank you so much for joining as a member. That means we are 2 members away. 2 members away from hitting 200 members, which is a cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs in the best way possible. Hey, Skinny. Hi, Cam. You have confirmed that her donuts are low carb. Awesome. I do want to try her donuts. I hope that's something I get to do. The mic is really loud. Yes, I actually can adjust that. 1 second. There, is that mic better? It seems a little blown out still. Here. Is that better or what? Let me know if it should go up or down from here. I just turned it down like a lot. Okay, so let me know if I can turn it back up. If any of you are having trouble hearing me, I'm gonna wait for a second and just kind of be like blah blah blah, words, things and stuff, and woo, because I'm trying to do a little bit less. Really, okay. Oh, this must be a really sensitive mic. Let's see here. Here, we're at 50 for my volume. Can I get feedback from other people besides Brooke too? I just want to make sure other people can hear me. This is a new microphone and new webcam. I'm assuming the microphone's new. Let me double check the settings actually. Yeah, it's a new microphone, so it must be a lot more sensitive. The chat's not moving. I'm not sure what's going on. Are you guys able to hear me? Sorry for the technical difficulties, but I have a new microphone built into the webcam. It's good? Okay. Hi, Jamie. Yes, you can hear me? Okay, good. And it's not too quiet. You can hear me well? Great. Okay. Thank you for letting me know about the microphone, Brooke. I really appreciate that information. I didn't even think about it. Hello, Jamie. So yeah, we're 2 members away from hitting 200 members, which is a cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. So I thought we'd chat for a little bit. So I guess I'll just kind of start. Would it allow you to disable the webcam mic and use the other yeah. Is the mic really bad? I'm texting my friend. Because I can change the microphone as a weird sound to it. Okay, let's see. Oh, static? Oh, fuck that. Thank you. Oh my God, bless you guys. Hold on, we're going to switch it back. Okay. How do I sound now? Now that I've turned up the microphone back to how it was. How do I sound now? Hi Lee. It's a little uncomfortable. Okay. How do I sound now? Okay. Good. Okay. So I need to not use the because the camera's better. Do you guys think the camera looks better than my previous lives? Because I feel like I look more crisp. Much better. Okay. Oh, y'all are in the live. Okay, good. Much better. All right. Thank you guys so much for giving me that feedback. Seriously. Okay. Good. All right. But yes, we have a yeah, so okay, good. It looks better. So it looks better and now I sound as good as I did prior. Perfect. Love that for me. I'm glad we got that fixed before I started talking about everything. So I guess we'll just kind of start. I feel like she and I have been in communications, me and Michelle McDaniel, for like a long time now. We've been in communication. Oh my God, I don't even remember how many months ago it's been, but what ended up happening was she made like an Instagram like reel about my TikTok going viral a long time ago, like a really long time ago. So she just acknowledged my existence and I commented on her reel and I kind of basically was like, I'd love to talk to you sometime. Da, 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 da. She didn't see it for a really, 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 really long time. Like several months later, some random person commented on my comment because my comment kind of had gotten eaten in the Instagram algorithm for the Instagram reel that she had made. And so I guess when she replied to my comment, that must have hit, or that random person replied to my comment, it must have hit Michelle's notifications because almost immediately she responded to my comment being like, oh my gosh, I didn't even see this until now, da 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 da. And then she followed me back and we started DMing. And she was like, I have this concept that I think you would be perfect for, which is the video you guys have seen today. And I was like, absolutely, I'm super down to talk about this. I do think she has a good heart. I think that she is someone who is really affected by this topic because she is someone who has in an issue with food in the past and has lost the weight. And, she has opinions about how fat acceptance like treats the topic of fatness and all of that. And I don't necessarily agree with like everything she says, like in a lot of her other videos, but I agree with a lot of what she says. And I think that she has good intentions in what she does. I just think she does it in a way that pisses off a lot of the people that don't agree with her, right? And I can understand that. I think that she's like she sent me the questions and I sent myself speaking to those things to her, and I really liked what she ended up making. So all of that being said, let's get some things pulled up here. Okay. And by the way, if you're not subscribed to her, you should definitely subscribe because she's trying to get to 950,000. She's currently at 949,000. So it's very possible for her to hit her next goals because she's getting really close to 1 million. Let me see here. This opening skit is one of the best things I've ever seen. I was really hoping she'd work a skit in with me, and she did. And the opening skit is incredible. Yes, let me drop the link. This is the video, guys. So please, Control C. Please go and like this video. Give it a view on your own time. It won't let you subscribe anymore. Fair enough. You know what? If you're already subscribed, that's awesome. Oh my God. Oh, that's annoying. Anyway, that is the link there. But also her name is spelled like this. If you're struggling with the link, just search this. It's her first video that she has. Her most recent. So let's see here. I mean, it's the title of the video. We're reacting to a video I was heavily featured in today. And the opening is amazing. I am so like, oh my god, the opening is so great. Let's see here. Oh, then you should definitely subscribe. Okay, let me see here. No, I don't like that. Let's do this because I want to. Okay, let's kind of talk about this, guys, of what we would want to do. I think that's a good option because you can still see the whole video and it doesn't cut into my face, but my face is still kind of big. Because see, if I do this, you can barely see me. So I would do either this option or this option. So put 1 in the chat for this, 2 in the chat for this. Was I crying? She knows the YouTube game. That's from a video I posted. So you want this one? We got 1, we got 2. I'm in Florida. I was around it. Okay, so we got lots of 2s. 2, 2, 2, 1, 1, 2, 2. 2 is definitely winning. Which 2 is my personal favorite. Let me see. Let me see something. Because I might be able to make it slightly better. I think I have to make it elsewhere. Never mind. I don't think I can make it here. Yeah, 2 is definitely the clear winner. Okay. So, y'all ready for this? Da-na-na-na-na. Oh! Sorry, Ozzy. I apologize. I thought you were talking about the thumbnail. Yeah. I mean, I had a moment and then I got over it because people can be really disappointing. I couldn't. I tried. Wait a second. Haha. Yeah, it won't let me. Oh, wait, hold on. Hold, please. Hold, please. I think this looks better. The bestest. Rosie's favorite. I think this will look better. Let's update layout. Okay, how does that look? That's way better, right, guys? Yeah, people really suck. And it sucks when they suck so much they do shit that hurts the good for that other people deserve. Yeah, that's better. Okay, great. I love that. I just realized I realized what I did wrong the last time that I couldn't figure out. Okay. I appreciate you guys helping me get through my technical difficulties. So I'm going to just kind of like, there's going to be lots of pausing. This is going to be like the commentary edition of this video. I did watch this earlier today, but yeah, I'm going to have a lot to say, I think. I'm going to let this skit play, though. Again, make sure that you guys go and like this video and subscribe to her if you haven't already. Regardless of your body, regardless of what you look like, you deserve to love yourself. I no longer subscribe to believing in haze. You deserve to love yourself enough to want to be as healthy as one can be.
You're right, my queens. I know what I must do. You did this to yourself, Rosie.
Okay. So that's what I was talking about earlier when I said the skit part, because like she does these like skits in her videos with Barbies. In case you've never seen a Michelle McDaniel video, and the whole like Mean Girls thing, and then like the first time I watched this, I literally scream laughed. I was like watching it by myself, and I was home alone. I'm not gonna scream, so I'm not gonna like do that to you guys, but I like actually like shriek laughed, and I just thought it was so funny because like I've definitely, seen Mean Girls and watched that. It's a great movie. And I was just like, oh my God, like me being in a burn book is just so funny and relatable with everything that I've been through with all these people. And like the attention to detail, because I think I saw like Rebel Wilson in the little book, like, because she makes all that. She films all of that like by herself, like by hand, and she scripts it, all of that. I just think that's so funny and so cool. But yeah, it's Mimi from that show with Drew somebody. The doll is amazing. I'm stuck on the top comments and not all. So if trolls slip by, sorry. Oh, you're good. A lot of people are mad at Rebel Wilson for losing weight in the like fat acceptance communities. Drew Carey show. Yes, thank you. Yes, Drew Carey. Yep, that's what I just couldn't remember his last name. But so in the title of this video, by the way, is Past Mean Girl Leaves Fat Acceptance and Exposing Everything. And I didn't know what she was going to title the video, and I did not fully realize the angle was going to be like positioning me as like a past mean girl. But in watching the video, I was like, yeah, okay, because it's the truth. It's just something that I guess I never put a ton of focus on, because I wasn't like out here like I've seen some influencers, constantly like calling people out and like being mean. But a lot of the times it would be like people in my comments and me retorting back, or me talking and then people like responding, and then I'd get into like Facebook fights and stuff. That was a lot when I was younger. I was a lot more combative in that sense. And then because like I thought about it, it's like, yeah, just because I wasn't doing it all the time, it doesn't change the fact that I did it, right? And that was something that I did talk about in the interview. We'll get to at some point, regarding like my story and kind of how everything played out.
This video is sponsored by me. All I want is for you guys to hit the subscribe button. These videos take me a while to make, and I would like more people to see them. So if you could leave me a comment, something simple like a donut emoji, and hit the subscribe button to get me to my goal of 950,000 subscribers, that would be greatly appreciated. My throbbing editing hands would greatly thank you. Now, please enjoy the video. Fat Girl Joy, a community that is all accepting, all.
To answer your question, Meg, was I ever a mean girl? In my opinion, no. But I participated in the mean girl behavior that is pretty normalized within fat acceptance. Does that make sense? Like I wasn't someone who was like sitting there being catty and talking shit about everybody. Like that was not a super common thing for me to do, but I would like in response to people be like, I'm gonna let myself kind of explain it in the video too, but Mean Girls are in packs. Yeah, I was definitely not a part of that. If anything, like I mean, and Chris was there for a lot of this. Like I had people that targeted me and bullied me even outside of what's being talked about in this video. But I definitely participated in like the mean girl behavior aspect of the fat acceptance groups, which is kind of what this all talks about.
All love, no drama, where they fight for your body to look exactly what it looks like right now. And you shouldn't have to change it, where they fight for larger clothes in stores.
Target is slowly removing this plus size section
to be all inclusive so everybody can wear cute clothes, because it's hard for this big, beautiful body to find clothing options.
Today we are at Tractor Supply. Y'all, there is literally so much room in here. Yeehaw!
A place where you can eat a bountiful amount of food and feel absolutely nothing, because your body needs all of that nourishment. You're told your body is beautiful and you shouldn't let people dictate what you look like. You, right there, are in control until you decide to leave this group.
They keep talking about, thin privilege. It's like, this thin privilege thing sounds pretty great. I'm gonna go get me some of that no matter how much it costs. And I got a personal trainer.
Then the drama.
So the first thing I probably don't 100% co-sign on this video is the whole thing with like thin privilege and like the fat oppression stuff. I toe this really weird line as of today, because I feel like there's so much that I still have to unpack, and sometimes I catch myself still defaulting to beliefs I held for a long time, because I was a part of this stuff for over a decade, right? And it all started in body positivity, but I've also lived in this body, in this very fat body, for a long time, and I've experienced things that I would say align with discriminatory things based on weight, especially I've experienced medical malpractice and stuff. And so I don't fully co-sign dismissing that thin privilege isn't even real. It's just I don't know if I like the term thin privilege, right? I don't know if that's the best way to explain it, but it's just there are things that are so much harder and that are kind of we are not included in and struggle to function in society around because of our size. So when I hear that soundbite, I was like, I don't know. I feel like I'm struggling to even properly word what point I want to get across here, because it's I feel like it's a duality in a way. Being thin or fat, there's no privilege to it. If you're thin, you're told you're too thin and need to eat. Yeah, I had a friend in high school who she was literally 90 pounds soaking wet, and she was always told all the time to go eat a cheeseburger and all of this stuff. And she actually joined the body positivity movement because it kind of helped her find some confidence in all this stuff. But she would also get people that were mad at her for it, because it's supposed to be a quote unquote fat space, which is just not true. I think you're more victim Olympics than mean spirited. Oh, in my past? Yeah, and we kind of get into that in the video. Yeah, she didn't really participate in the making fun of people or being outwardly rude. Yes, but she was in that pack, so it was more she was a mean girl by association. Yeah. Hi, Nancy. Good to see ya. Yeah.
Begin.
Yesterday, I had to block a mutual who had posted a video that I at first thought was satire. They were talking about their journey from body positivity into fat acceptance as a delusion that they were holding.
Has anyone noticed the uptick in fat or plus size people doing weight loss content recently?
So many body positive advocates are now posting about intentional weight loss.
Why are they so mad? Why? How does that affect you in your day-to-day life? Why are you angry that people are choosing weight loss? Sounds like the call is coming from inside the house. This mentality, post leaving, drives me batshit. It drives me crazy, because it's just so clear to me now that I'm outside of the deluded mindset that woman was mocking. That other people changing their bodies, especially because of health reasons is not something that should make you angry. It's just insane. It's just I have no words. Crabs in a bucket. What do you mean? I missed that. Hold on. Crabs in a bucket. Oh, yeah. We need to think for the space between having a privilege and facing a penalty. Ooh, Lee, I love that. It's that saying, misery loves company. Yeah. This is Michelle McDaniel. She made a video about me. Let me go ahead. I'll repost the link in her chat or in my chat. You're welcome to go give this video a like and give it a view. That mentality makes no sense. No one ever said they have to lose weight. Exactly. They take it so personally because their peer is saying they want to change. So they feel like they're being attacked. And it's because it threatens their reality. It threatens their little safety bubble. It threatens the entire ideology of fat acceptance because just like how the deaths of all these influencers, like it's a threat to their reality because they're ignoring the fact that like a 28-year-old Brittany just sick and tired of waiting, died of causes that are health related, related to her weight, cast the blast, passed away for similar reasons. And there's so many other people that I like the waffler guy, literally, like, and that's just off the top of my head, and I don't have a great memory. So it's like it's these harsh realities are what drug me out. Because when I'm given objective fact, I listen. And over time, as I got older, it just became impossible to ignore that people are literally dying and these communities don't care. They don't care because it's a threat to their ego. Jamie Lopez, yes. From she owned the plus size salon. Some like 2 people have died in the Heart Attack Grill. Literally at the Heart Attack Grill in Las Vegas. That caters to basically the feederism of it all. Sorry, I just got emotional. I know being thin on its own is particularly a privilege, but there's definitely a penalty in being obese. Yeah, Lee, I really agree with that, and I appreciate how you worded that. I'm sorry, I'm just like emotional about this. This is very close to my heart because at the end of the day, like, I know that I'm not out of the water here when it comes to my health and my body. And I am a little scared, you know, like I'm not sitting around like, oh my God, I'm going to die any day. You know, that's not my mentality, but I know I have so far to go and it's so hard and it's overwhelming and it's scary. But to sit here and talk about these things and ignore the fact that people are fucking dying for their weight because the money in body positive internet's so good and the attention is so validating and, you know, like being an influencer and peddling these messages is more important than like the reality of what being this size is. It's bullshit. So there is career penalty to being fat. That's true. Holy, thank you. Let's get back to the reaction, but it's just these people are like these people have died. And then like these communities they were a part of, they just fucking ignore it. They mourn them, they're sad for a little bit, they move the fuck on to the next fat person to worship. Like it's awful. It's awful. truly awful.
You're no longer pretty, and what you wear is ugly.
At every single show you do, you wear the same tired button down that you seemingly own in 5 different colors and just tie it up in the front thinking it's cute. And let me clarify my tone. I mean this to be rude.
Then you're basically dead to them.
Now on, I am just going to treat every fat creator who has freshly turned into a weight loss influencer as if they've died.
Well,
She's probably about to say this, if I remember correctly, but when I saw that clip, the first thing I thought was cult. That is cult mentality. That is literally like the Amish leaving and then their families like completely severing all connection with them. You know what I mean? And like, or Jehovah's Witnesses, I think, do that similarly. And even Mormonism. My family thankfully wasn't like that, but a lot of families are.
welcome back, everybody, to part 2 of the Mean Girls of Fat Acceptance, where we are digging very deep into what happens when you leave what some are saying a full-on CULT. Disclaimer, I can't say that word among many other words because YouTube will snatch my monies away. And these videos take quite a bit of time to edit. My hands are breaking. So if you could leave me a comment just in case they do demonetize this saying, darn you, YouTube, because we cannot curse. In episode 2, I want to bring you even deeper into a very closed-off group from the Thins, as they have called us.
It's weird because I actually know one of those girls, the girl in the middle, and I found her before her weight gain. So the clips here, she rapidly gained weight due to feederism, by being a feederism model. She has rapidly, like, I think it was over the course of a year, she gained a significant amount of weight. We used to be mutuals on Instagram. I don't think we are anymore, but I don't know her very well, but the little interactions I like actually saw of her on lives and stuff, I kind of realized that she was very much playing up the like vapid fat model shtick that I'm certain could have been applied to me at certain points in my past. But she was used to not be that big when I first found her. And I remember, I think one of the reasons I ended up following her was because in and of itself, I found that triggering and really sad. Not because I think she's uglier at all. I don't think that at all. I don't think I'm ugly. And I think a lot of you guys who watch me know that. Like, I don't think I'm ugly. I'm not losing weight to look better. That is not even on my radar. For me, it is entirely about health. But I know what eating like that did to me. And how much it hurt. It hurt. It's a lot of pain. Pain that sometimes I don't know how much of the pain that I deal with is because of what I've done to my own body, and how much of it is because of the trauma or because of like other things related to my health. Because I've got some stuff that's going on that's not weight related. But sometimes I wonder if like the chronic nerve pain was worsened because of what I've done. And that's something I just have to fucking live with. And when I see people making those decisions, I just want to fucking shake them, man. Because it's not fucking worth it. It's not worth it. It's just not worth it. None of it was worth it. Thank you, Meg. Thank you, guys. You guys are saying nice stuff. Yeah, Michelle's great. Shunning for sure. Thank you, Tracy. I've been doing really good today. I'm actually really proud of myself. I had a few chicken nuggets. That's the only thing I haven't eaten while I've been live. Or the only thing besides that and like the popcorn or little snack I had. Because I was like, I'm feeling kind of hungry and I want some protein. So I just made like some like little chicken nuggets in the microwave before I came on here. Because I was like, oh, I'm like surprisingly hungry. At the end of the day, looks shouldn't be the sole reason anyone changes. It should be being around longer. Amen. Wanting to live a long life is a good thing. Absolutely. The part where you woke up means there's hope. Yeah, absolutely. And I just want more people to wake up, you know? You don't have to even like commit yourself fully to weight loss, but just like choose to eat your vegetables, choose to incorporate good things into your diet along with your treats. Like, if you don't want to actively lose weight, okay, but put good things into your body and don't eat in such extreme gluttonous excess for money. It's not worth it, especially with this healthcare system. It's not fucking worth it. I can't stress that enough.
Or maybe you remember the Thin Mints, which they have called me. I personally do not identify as a thin woman. I like athletic, but I guess they can call me whatever.
Them guns. She's winning the gun show. God damn. Hold on. We're gonna
as they have called us. Or
I wanna
maybe
just
you
look at her
remember the
gun.
Thin Mints, which they have called me. I personally do not identify as a thin woman. I like athletic.
Damn. Good on you, Michelle. Claps in the chat for Michelle's guns.
But I guess they can call me whatever they want.
As long as we don't use the O word, I guess. Stop using the word obese or obesity, especially if you're talking about a fat person.
A closed off.
I want to talk on that topic because I'm gonna be pausing a lot just for these like comment on the sound bites too. I used to hate the word obese. Do I still love it? Honestly, no, I don't, because of how it's been used against me so much. But that's a big sticking point within like fat acceptance and body positivity is the word obese. It's not. It's first of all, it's ugly. Obese. And ooh, it's ugly. It's an ugly word. Even I think outside of context, I just don't like the word obese. Kind of like the word moist, just like ugh, like ugh. It doesn't sound nice to the ears, right? But the stigmatization around the word obese, like I prefer the word fat. Like I would much rather talk about fat as fat. And the way that this clinical term has been bastardized by general society is a little bit of a shame. Because it does make just having these conversations with people so much more difficult, because even just choosing to use that word is going to shut off so many people's ears. And I've actually realized it's only been in recent history that I've started even using that word in my vernacular and not cringe. Because, and I mean like past few months recently. And I still don't like to use it. And I think that's just boils back down to the fact it doesn't feel good. And I don't like that as a general society, people want to attach that word to someone's like personhood, if that makes sense. Because when we're using it in clinical terms, like, yes, that's fine. But I don't like that a lot of people try to just appropriate that in general conversation or sling it at strangers on the internet, because then that does kind of defeat the purpose in terms of trying to use that word in conversations around health, right? So I have gotten to a point now where I feel less attacked when I hear that word, because that was so literally indoctrinated into me over the years. So that's something I've gotten better about. Sometimes it can still feel a little triggery, but not like it once did. Like I don't get mad, but triggery in the sense of it just makes me feel uncomfortable. You know what I mean? But it's just like at this point I've really started unpacking a lot about just how much these types of spaces online really like police around vocabulary. And I think for some words that's very important, like especially around racial conversations and other things. Like I think that that's important, but in other conversations it just kind of feels almost like a aspect of control, you know what I mean? Yeah, Meg, agree. Like we shouldn't be dehumanizing people by comparing them to animals, period. Whales, pigs, cows, all the like, especially when you get into the topic of feederism. A lot of those words are like flirting to those people. So I definitely don't want to be called those things. Mommy. Sweary fairy. I know that was about the muscles. TLK, thank you so much for being a new sub. Let's see here. Hopefully this video, this live your story especially, will wake more people up. We can hope, right? I hope the right people find it. I hate chocolate and mint together, so Thin Mints are not for me. Yeah, Michelle is definitely looking like a beast in the best way, for sure. Obese is less insulting than fat, lady. Really? I feel opposite, Lynn. And that's the other thing, is it's so personal. I own the word fat, personally. Like, that is just a descriptor to me. Hi, my name's Rosie. I'm a fat person, and I'm a bunch of other really cool things that aren't really related to the fatness on my body. And I used to value my fatness way too much. And now I just am. Our value as human is not tied to our physical body. Amen, Sandra. Already. Amen there. We need to love ourselves at every size, but there are things that are easier in a small body. That doesn't make our value less in a larger body. I completely agree with that sentiment. And you know what, Lynn? Then you absolutely have that right. You have every right to feel that way, just like I have every right to feel my way about, between fat and obese, right? Hi, Lisa. Good to see you. I don't understand why people feel the need to say anything related to it in the first place. Yeah, that's very, very real, Zayil. I feel that. It isn't the words, it's the tone and context that gives it power. Amen to that. Everyone, please be wary and check on the people you care about. A really abnormal people have been hit by cars and having heart issues this past week. Oh, man. I'm sorry to hear that, Zayil. I don't like the word skinny and obese. Okay. Interesting. You don't like the word skinny? I haven't heard many people say that before.
Group from the thins, the athletes, and even small fats to their own spectrum. All of them are out.
I sent her that graphic because she was like, what is this? And she'll kind of get more into it, but that graphic is something that's passed around a lot in fat spaces, because like fatness is kind of categorized and treated as a hierarchy in those spaces. It's very odd, like looking back, but it was so normal to me.
And it's open to the super fats, and my favorite word, the infinity fats, where they are welcome until they start losing the weight. And definitely until they say that 6-letter no word, health. Then the mean girls start popping up, honey. And I was able to get an inside look as to what it's like being in this community, because I got to speak to someone who says they were actually one of the top mean girls of the community. She said,
I have to say, I never said I was one of the top mean girls. I gotta say that. Like, I think that might have been for dramatic flair. I did not say that. I don't think I was ever one of the top mean girls. That was one of the things that I heard her say, and I went, I said that? But I was like a prominent person in the feederism spaces, absolutely. But not as much in like the fat acceptance, like I mean, I did some like advocacy content, but not, I was never like a Simraya or a Tess Hollett, you know what I mean? So when she said that, I went, ooh, I don't know how I feel about that.
says that she was toxic. She was brainwashed by the men who loved seeing her eat herself to death, and who felt extremely stuck in this community that she loved and felt loved, but knew that if she ever stopped being, well, their beauty standard, they would stop loving you. She knew that she had to keep indulging or she would be casted out.
I co-sign the rest of that. That's all true. I do try to stay positive, but I also stay real. And this
Sometimes
is real right now.
When you say
This is
my
so dramatic.
name,
I love it.
but thinking of hers, I don't want.
Side note, I'm so pissed I lost my glasses. I look so good in them. I'm so mad about it. I miss them. R.I.P. my glasses.
Rosie Jean, 550 pounds, a popular member of the fat acceptance community, loved by the women in the community for being like them, and very loved by the men for being their ideal.
I think she's saying fat acceptance when she really should be saying feederism because of the terms of service. Because, again, that's the thing where, like, there's some of this video where I feel like I'm like, Yes, but I would have maybe worded it differently, but I think it's literally because of like the TOS. Amir is living for these slow-mo shots of you. I just know it. Kristen, messy. I don't know. Just whoever said thin is prettier than chubby lied. Yeah, beauty is subjective. Sorry, I really wanted to be in the live all day, but I had allergic reactions to something. Oh no, Lisa. Well, I'm glad you're here. You watched this morning? That's awesome. Yeah, I'm doing like Rosie's commentary version. Like in Invader Zim, where social rank was based on height. Oh my god, but the almighty Sorry. That's so I gotta fuck it. I'm texting that to Michelle right now. Hold please. I don't want to forget that. I want to tell her that right now because she might use that in a video. I'm telling her that right now. Okay. I basically told her what you said because that's so funny. That is hilarious. Sorry about that. I'm not normally on my phone during lives, but I just wanted to say that. Invader Zim, I was just talking about it yesterday. Oh, a guy from the last live, Andrea, he was like jokingly hitting on me and stuff. I was mentioning JTHM. JTHM? I don't know what that is. Okay, let's get back to it.
Woman until she decided to leave it all.
I no longer subscribe to believing in haze. You deserve to love yourself enough to want to be as healthy as one can be in their body.
But you're probably asking, how did she get to this point in her weight though? How did she find herself in fat acceptance? Where did it all start? Rosie Jean grew up in a Mormon household. She stayed indoors a lot.
That's my grandy, by the way. I told her, I was like, blur everybody else's face except my grandy. Because my grandy's passed. And I was like, I want everybody to see her pretty face. Because I love her. But everybody else was like, I don't really talk to them. They're like they're like people that I think are still Mormon and stuff. So yeah.
A lot because her mother did not like her to do any type of activities outside of school and church function. Because she was mostly indoors, she loved to watch TV, she loved to play video games, and pretty much take care of her Neopets. Very nostalgic. And even though she was doing a lot of, computer work, video games and stuff like that, she was an extreme bookworm as well.
In the 4th grade, I tested as having an above college reading level. By 7th or 8th grade, I was reading Harry Potter before the movies came. I read a lot of Babysitter Club books. I would spend a lot of time hiding in the library.
Unfortunately, like many of these stories we've covered, Rosie's childhood was cluttered with absolute trauma and chaos. She was a very emotional girl, cried a lot, and couldn't handle her emotions, which she would turn to her books to help her cope.
And beyond reading, really the only things I did as a child was go to church and watched a lot of TV.
But even though she would turn to books, which was great for just educational purposes, she would also turn to food. After a significant event that happened in her adolescence, and the significant weight gain would start at the age of 6. Rosie's 12-year-old cousin would start living with her and her family, and Rosie would become his second ABUSC victim. Rosie then would turn to food and her books at the young age of 9 or in 4th grade. She eventually would read so much, she would be reading at a college level. But the food also had a drastic impact on her weight. By age 9, she would become a binge eater.
Once I hit high school, I ended up actually getting my GED because the bullying was pretty significant. And so in my 4th year of high school, because I did attend 4 years before I ended up dropping out and getting my GED, at that point in time, I was over 500 pounds. And in my last year, I was not able to fit into the desks anymore.
To give you guys some kind of comfort here, I can't talk a lot about this, once again, YouTube's guidelines, but Rosie's cousin would eventually get caught when she was 23 for distributing certain images of children as young as 7 on his Nintendo DS. So at least he got caught. But unfortunately, the damage was done. When you have that done to you at such
There's not too much more to add to that because all of that's just correct information about my life. That's kind of my origin story, I guess, like the beginning of the trauma. There's we don't really, in this video, she doesn't really go into the other stuff, but that's like the origin of my CPTSD and like how the eating disorder started. Because like that picture that she was zooming in a lot, I was 6 years old. I was already like pretty much like immediately as that stuff was going on. I thought the weight gain didn't start until about a year later. But I found that photo, and because I've seen pictures of me when I was 5, and I was not that overweight. So it was like an extremely like because I don't remember it, right? Like I was traumatized. I don't remember. And I was also very young, obviously. So this is emotional. Sorry. So when people are so callous about people at extreme weights, I have never met someone my size that doesn't have the trauma to back up why they are the way they are. Once you hit a certain age, it's your responsibility to try to get out of it, but the callousness and like just the whole like just stop eating shit, it's just really rooted in like the dehumanization of fat people. And I think it's important to have these conversations and understand that like, yes, there's a lot of problems with fat acceptance. Yes. Borderline cult, like, yes. You know, a lot of what's being shared is dangerous information and we need to talk about it. We need to critique it, but we also need to not shit all over fat people. And that's why I like creators like Michelle and Obese to Beast and Sam at Every Size and Megan Ann. They do really great jobs of having these conversations. And pretty much, I think almost all of them have like also struggled with weight. And it's like, it's these other creators that do this shit that have never been overweight that just like kind of clown on fat people. That helps nobody, you know? But let me go ahead and catch up on the chat real quick. Yeah, he got caught in a Fed bust. This is not a blind reaction. I did watch this. I watched it this morning. I had to. I just wanted to do like a Rosie commentary version. Yeah, all I wanted was a quiet room. Yeah, he took pictures on a Nintendo DS. I think the press just said a video game console, but it was a Nintendo DS. So, thank you, Britt. You don't get this big for no reason. Absolutely. Thank you, Swery. Thank you, Diana. Hey, Dandelion. Good to see ya.
Such a young age, it can really affect you very severely. And many children that unfortunately go through this type of horrid event, they develop PTSD. They are flooded with shame, humiliation, guilt, and self-blame. And it normally leads to a lot of depression and anxiety. And many times it also leads to some sort of ED, not erectile dysfunction. I see you guys asking, is that what I'm talking about? Clearly I am not. Clearly I cannot say the word. So I'll put it right here just to clarify some things. When you go through this, especially at a young age, they will think that their body is just disgusting. The type of disorder eating depends on the individual. It can be a heavy restriction or heavy binging.
When we have an experience of trauma, again, we might feel out of control, powerless, and helpless. Trauma can really prime us to develop all kinds of maladaptive patterns. And eating disorders really can operate in the same way. People can use them to numb, to get out of a feeling, or for some, it's to create a different feeling state. But for all of them, you know, that common thread is that underlying anxiety or pain or discomfort. that suffering that they're trying to alleviate.
Eventually, though, Rosie would find a community, a positive community called Body Positivity in 2013, a place where you accept all your flaws.
Just want to remind you that someone who looks like this is the same person who looks like this.
You know what's so interesting when I watched this clip she chose? Because I don't even think she realized it or would know this, but this kind of shit actually pisses off people in fat acceptance. Because when I was in fat acceptance, I saw her as a normal body type, and I'm not saying she's not, but my point is, people would talk about how she's not fat enough to be making content like this or saying shit like this. So I just found it really interesting that like this is the clip she chose for this point that she made, because even today when I saw this clip, I was like, oh, she's like not even that big. And that's something that like I still have to check with myself, because like, and it was something I even kind of thought more about when I was reading the comments on this video and watching this video, is that, you know, my standards and what I'm used to seeing and what I understand to be, you know, equivocal to fatness is just on such a different scale than like, I guess, the reality of it, right? And that's something I've been having to like unpack, and that I found really interesting as like a general observation of myself.
And understand that not everyone looks the same. Not everyone looks like those women that you see on TV. And that's okay, because everyone is beautiful and everyone can do whatever any other shape and size can do.
You don't need a flat stomach to be beautiful. Your body is a miracle. You are beautiful and sexy and amazing.
So while she was in the land of body positivity, she found herself in a new land, a land called fat acceptance.
When it comes to fat acceptance, the transitions were a little odd to me, because I think there was a time where I didn't even realize that there was a distinction between the two. Because I kind of just stumbled into that aspect through the communities within body positivity and being an admin for places like Pizza Sisters for Life, which was similar to the F Your Beauty Standard movement. Honestly, I'm not even really sure that I knew the difference between fat acceptance and body positivity until I was already indoctrinated into the rhetoric.
But once,
yeah, so on that point, I want to say, she wanted me to talk about that point, and I really was unsure what to even say, because for the longest time, I just thought I was a body positive. And then like I heard more about like fat liberation and like fat acceptance, and I remember thinking to myself, like, I don't even understand what the difference is. And I would ask people and they'd be like, oh yeah, it's like did this, it's like did this and this and this. And I'm like, but if we're body positive, then like what's the distinction? And then eventually it took me a long time to realize that the distinction is that you're like excluding people that aren't fat when you're talking about fat acceptance. So it's like you have to basically radically accept fatness, be anti-weight loss, all these types of things, and like, you know, pro haze, all that stuff, because body positivity can be a lot more general. But my understanding of body positivity included all of that already, because of the spaces I was on online. So that distinction was just extremely confusing to me for honestly years, like multiple years, not the entire time, but multiple years. I was just very confused, and while at the same time thinking I was some kind of authority that could speak on it, because again, nobody can fucking agree on what like any of this means inside of the communities. Diana, I am so sorry to hear that. If this topic is ever too much for you, I understand if you need to go, but if this is bringing you some kind of comfort or feelings that are helping you, I definitely do want you to stay. But I'm really, really sorry to hear that. Lynn, I do want to add that the EDs were absolutely about control. Absolutely. The problem today is people are bullied for anything and everything, and nobody stops and thinks what that person may have gone through or is going through is so sick and sad. Yeah. Thank you, Pale Pink. Or no, you're talking to Diana. I'm sorry. I misread that. The anti-weight loss is dangerous, and that took me a long time to realize. But yeah, honestly, Diana, I'm sending you lots of love too. I'm really glad you have your husband to be your safe space.
Rosie was in it. She was in it. She loved it. It explains that the community was
absolutely amazing. I was praised for my looks and supported for my fatness.
Rosie wasn't just idolized by women. Rosie was especially idolized by the men, who definitely accepted the fact. I've talked a lot about the fat acceptance community, and I noticed that many people in this community say that they do this for themselves. A lot of them will shame thin women or people who want to lose weight to look like the typical beauty standard, and they shame women for wanting to look like a beauty standard to be accepted by men.
Okay, so it's the beauty standards for me. I feel when curvy and plus size people are constantly telling out that we're tired of being put in this bubble of society's narrative.
But many of these women secretly are part of websites that have a high percentage of men who want them to be their beauty standard. And their beauty standard is be as big as possible, even if it means death.
You know, there was a guy that was sending me Western Union grams, like $200 a week for food. Men would send me pizzas. So I knew that, you know, if I ate on camera, I would get more money.
One guy sent me $600 in the course of 2 days, and the only stipulation was to spend it on food. The amount of men that would send me money and not even want like proof that I spent it on food, just thinking that they sent it for food was enough for them to do what they wanted to do, if you catch my drift. And just to like chat about what I was gonna eat and be able to chat about like the fantasy of like weight gain and stuff. It's just, when I think back on that, I try to not feel shame because shame isn't healthy. But I do feel like a sense of regret that I was in such a space that I valued that as some form of affection that had any validity to myself, when it was never that at any point. It was never that. And that was like a little bit of a hard pill to swallow, you know. When I made the decision to leave feederism, I lied in bed for 2 days and cried because I knew that everything would crumble. It wouldn't just be feederism, that because all the ties of like those people in that community, like I thought some people might stick around, but that was before I even left fat acceptance. After I left fat acceptance, it got worse. But I really believed that some of these people cared about me. Just like I believed that some of these people cared about me when I was a Mormon. And then I left the church, and I'll never forget this woman that I valued as like a mother figure to me, who saw me in the grocery store after I had left Mormonism. And I waved and smiled at her like really big. And she just like gave me this like stone cold face and turned away from me. And like, I had similar experiences on a parasocial level when I left fat acceptance. And it hurts. It hurt to think that I was so, I don't know, deluded into thinking that people genuinely cared about me in those spaces, when it was my fatness that they valued above my humanity. And I just didn't see it that way when I was in it, because in that rhetoric, you do tie your fatness to who you are, almost as like a personality trait. So them admiring your fatness is them admiring you. But when you realize that separation, it creates an entirely different internal dynamic. Everyone does react to trauma differently. Yeah, I mean, the one female feeder that I hung out with, I actually we casually dated a little bit. She was actually really great to me. She was actually a vegan food scientist. She was never pushy. She seemed to just genuinely enjoy food. I don't even know if she was actually a feeder. I met her on a feeder website, but she didn't have like a feeder vibe, I guess, if that makes sense. But she did make food for me and try it and stuff. But I think that was kind of a unique case. Thank you, Pale Pink. But I've never dealt with a feeder that had the really gross vibes of like Amberlynn's girlfriend. Because that girl gives me the fucking creeps. It's funny how trauma works. My sister is just like my mom. Therapy is very important when you go through something like SA. Yeah. Everyone reacts differently to trauma. I'm going to read that again because it's so true. People who are hurting themselves want to see other people hurt themselves. Yeah. Admiring themselves, though they are. It's admiring themselves, though they are bonding over the weight that's not necessarily about you. Yeah. Yeah. I'm like emotional today, guys. I'm sorry. I'm like on my cycle, so I'm like crying every 5 seconds. My apologies.
Honey, these men will pay you thousands. Rosie was extremely nice enough to give me some insight in one of the most dangerous FETISHSs that you could ever get into.
The last things I remember filming and being kind of like, whoa, about, especially within that immediate retrospect, was how I ate a pound of sausage plus a rack of ribs plus some of the sides for a video.
And many of these men will pay more if you keep gaining weight just for them. They think it's like their special little gift to see you get bigger and bigger.
I ate an entire family-sized chicken pot pie on top of like a mini dessert pie, and then 20 minutes later I DoorDashed some McDonald's.
I ended up finding a website called Fantasy FEEDER. It is so.
That was like, by the way, back in like 2020. I haven't had McDonald's in over a year because I don't like McDonald's anymore. I don't eat there for multiple reasons. I just wanted to add that because I talk about that a lot, but I just wanted to add that clarity because fuck McDonald's.
Creepy. I hated every part of it. I usually love reading comments. Oh my god, it is flooded with men that want to eventually hold these contests where women gain a lot of weight. The more you gain, the more you make.
I mean, she thinks Fantasy Feeder is bad. You should try reading shit on BBW Chan. That shit is evil. They were literally celebrating people dying from being overweight. So, and when I say celebrating, I mean celebrating. Think about it. She's about to talk about the topic I'm talking about. It's disgusting.
Idea has always been for a win your weight in gold competition where the winner literally gets weighed and is awarded their exact weight in gold.
This reminds me of that heart attack grill place where if you are a certain amount of weight, you step on their large scale and they'll give you a free.
I used to want to go there so bad.
Meal and probably a heart attack.
Blair River, the so-called spokesmodel of the Heart Attack Grill.
Yeah, he died at 29. Anyway, these women are made to feel as if they have control, that they are the boss over these men. They make thousands of dollars. They pretty much are doing something that they would have done anyway.
By the way, plot twist, you're not in control. You're not, it feels in the moment, it feels like a power trip because it's like these men think you're so pretty and so powerful and so whatever that they're just like sending you all this adoration and giving you all this money, and it feels like power when in actuality the entire time they're actually contributing so much harm to you for the sole purpose of getting the rocks off. That's all it is. That's all it is. And the moment you no longer serve a purpose for them, you mean nothing to them. And I learned that the hard way. I had people that I viewed as friends that were basically my feeders. Parts of them. Like when they had money, they'd give it to me. It just kind of depended on a few things. And there were times where, like, there's this one guy I think of specifically, where when I was really struggling financially, occasionally he would send me like $200 and he would just be like, don't even worry about it. Like not even for just food, just to like help me out of a bad situation. And I texted with him a lot, and he's not someone I ever actually dated. I never met him. He's not really someone I've ever really referred to very much, because we just kind of had like a texting relationship. And I viewed him as a friend. And the moment I came out about fat acceptance, he unfollowed me on everything and ghosted me. Because I was only valued for what I provided, which was a service. It was a transactional relationship. And so much of these communities, even if it's not literal transactional with money, it's still transactional, it's conditional, because that's so much a part of that like cult-like mentality. And it's sad. I'm really tapped into some old feelings tonight, I guess. I'm so sorry I keep like tearing up, but it's like this is very raw. I did get through most of this video without crying the first time I watched it, but near the end I did cry. It's just, I guess, talking about all of this, I'm exploring my feelings a bit deeper, and it's definitely, this video touched a lot of nerves, because I did some things that I'm not as comfortable with in this video. Like I talked about how I ate in detail. I tend to avoid doing that, as a lot of you guys know. And I cite specific examples when that question comes up on public platforms, and I stick to those examples for the most part, because I think they convey the point, and I don't need to sit here and list every which way I've done things, because trust me, my videos were extreme and I made good money because I actually did them. And that's what a lot of people really crave in those communities, are like authentic models that aren't like pretending to eat, because they want the reality of it. And that's what I provided at the time. Let's catch up on chat 1 second. I keep apologizing for crying. I'm sorry. Oh God, here I am doing it again. I don't know if they're a psychopath. I'm not sure about that, but they do that because it provides a sexual gratification for them. You can ask me a question about my ex, sure. He is a feeder. I didn't know that for the first 6 years of our relationship, but he's a feeder. Unfortunately, a lot of us work is that way. Some people don't care if they're contributing to your trauma as long as you're serving their purpose. Yeah. What I'm hearing is you're just looking for unconditional love, like most people. Ow, Meg, that hurt. It was too true. Don't feel bad. It's just that's so true. That's just too true. Like, and it comes from a source of trauma. I didn't realize this was going to be a Rosie cries for an hour video, but this is very like emotional for me. And I'm also really weepy when I'm tired. Plus, I'm having hormonal stuff. So yeah, fetish is the fetish, but it doesn't mean it's a healthy fetish. Yeah, that was the question. Oh, okay. It's been an emotional day. I'd be emotional too. Thank you. Yeah, it's been a lot of good emotions too. But I didn't know for the first 6 years how I found out he was a feeder. We actually broke up for the first time in 2019, and we broke up, and I was panicking because I needed to find a way to make money. And I had gone through an experience in 2014 where I was introduced to the concept of feederism against my will. This is something that I've talked about in the interview on the We're All Insane podcast. In case you haven't seen it, if you type in We're All Insane Rosie, it'll pop up. It's called Groomed into Feederism. I had a really traumatic experience around feederism that wasn't touched on in this video. And I thought it was super bad. I turned away from it. And then I went to a friend who was my size, and I asked her how she made all this money doing X work, like S work. And she told me about this website that caters to feederism. And I was like, you know what? Maybe I was wrong. Maybe I had a bad first experience. I kind of talked myself into exploring it, made an account on that website, started lurking and talking to people. And then I eventually went to my ex. This was after we had broken up. And I told him about the website, and he goes, oh yeah, I've had an account on there for a while. And I go and I find out that he had an account for at least 2 years. He had an account for at least 2 years within our relationship. And then upon further conversation, I found out that he had basically always been a feeder, and had just lied to me about it, because I had asked him directly at one point, because internet trolls had said that about him. And he was like, no, I would never, blah, blah, blah. And he just bull-faced lied to me. And I didn't know that at the time, obviously. And I'm reacting to it because I want to. And it's okay to cry. I just wasn't expecting to cry this much. But it's just, this topic is so real for me, and I appreciate the opportunities to talk about this topic and spread awareness, because feederism is dangerous, and fat acceptance and feederism go hand in hand. Feederism heavily relies on fat acceptance, whereas fat acceptance does not necessarily heavily rely on feederism. Pretty much everybody involved in feederism is aligned with the values of fat acceptance, but not everyone that aligns with fat acceptance aligns with feederism. Is kind of the best way to explain that. Okay, let's get back to the video.
Anyway, so it seems like a win-win.
All these men that like big women, and they had a chat room. I couldn't even keep up with the amount of people trying to talk to me.
You're just doing it in front of losers who enjoy tons of biting sounds, slurping sounds, loud eating sounds, and a lot of chewing. I have to say, I would die. You know what?
And that's the thing though, is actually when it comes to feeders, it's unique to the person. Some people love that. Some people love the eating. Some people love the messy eating and stuff, and that's a big thing for them, or the burping or the whatever of it all. Other people actually don't care about the eating part. They just want to know that you're eating so that they know you're gaining, because they actually only care about the fat. They only care about the literal fat on your body. That's why they won't even care to watch you eat or know what you ordered, because they don't care. They just want to know that you're eating enough calories to either stay as fat as you are, if you're as fat as I was back then, or to gain weight to be as fat as I was, or what a lot of them wanted was for me to hit 600 pounds or 700 or 800, because 530 or 550 wasn't enough.
Though, not to get off topic, but also on topic, because cookies, I'm sure these people ate cookies on the screen. But my crumble video, remember that really, really cute girl? She wasn't obese or anything, but she would eat in pure silence. She was a very, very attractive woman. Eats in pure silence. You can hear all the chews. And I said in the video, cut that out and tell us about the cookie. Who wants to hear this? I'm guessing this is why it gets so many views. Y'all get turned on by horrible table manners. Hey, there's something for everyone, but I would die. Horrible table manners. Just take an etiquette class. Just one. It's like the first lesson. No slurp slopping at the table. Anyway, back on topic. Many of these women perform with zero clothes on or very revealing outfits. Sometimes outfits that these men will purchase for them, and sometimes feeding themselves or by a lucky participant.
It's so interesting because I didn't really catch this a lot the first time I watched the video, but as she was saying that, it reminded me, like, I used to dress very differently. I used to wear a lot more, like, super tight clothes, really, like showing my midriff when I was, like, over 500 pounds. Like, wearing camis and with my leggings, which, like, I'll still wear those kinds of stuff sometimes, like, but I would take it to, like, I used to leave my house in a sports bra and leggings. And it's just so interesting because nowadays I just feel like that was so motivated by the fact that I did, like, SW work. Well, that was redundant, but that I did S work. And like that it, and like the whole, like, making, like, because I feel like I only really, like, made fatness my personality or a part of my personality for, like, a chunk of time. It wasn't the entire time I was a part of body positivity, but, like, especially near the end, I would say I definitely did that a lot more. No, actually, most feeders are, by the way, Kristen, most feeders are either, like, gym bros, gym rats, super thin, skinny guys, average, like, dad bod types. They're very rarely also feedies. It happens, but thank you, Pale Pink. Thank you so much, Angela. I appreciate that. I checked out that website she mentioned, and the fact people are paying people to get to a weight goal to gain fast. Yeah, it's crazy. People are paying. Yeah. Yeah, she has the misophonia too. Hello, Ryan. You're one of Michelle's followers, so I already watched the video. The strength it takes to get out, especially when it feels like the one place of acceptance. Girl, you're amazing. Thank you so much. Yeah, this is just like the commentary version. This is my second time watching the video today. I just had stuff I wanted to talk about, and clearly I have a lot of feelings to process. So, how reasonable ideas like it's okay to be fat end up getting taken over by toxic extremes. Because after the early 2000s, it was refreshing to have something other than stick thin be an acceptable body. Absolutely, Lee. I agree. Have you ever talked to any of your feeders? Like, oh yeah, actually, when I first joined Fox Caps, I like interviewed feeders trying to understand the psychology behind it. Thank you, Ryan. And that ended up being to my own detriment because they made it make sense to me back when I had, like, fat acceptance brain. Yeah, there's a lot of gym bros that are really into fat chicks and, like, into feederism. Yeah, it's a lot. Like, they themselves are health nuts, but they, like, live vicariously through the experiences, but most of them do it on the DL. I've had to dump guys who are gym rats or very tall, skinny guys because they only liked me for my fat. Yeah, it's weird. It's like a perversion of fatness because they're so obsessed with not being fat themselves. I'm also a Michelle follower and subscribed to you after her video. Already so proud of you after just watching her video. Thank you so much, Lydia. I was lucky enough to never have someone want to date me for my body. I've only been rejected for my fat, but I've only been sexualized online, never in person. Yeah, it's been both for me.
Some foods are healthier than others, and some are really calorie laden. Oh, and those are usually the good ones.
And the bigger you are, the more glorified you will be, and the more of a queen you will be. And Rosie said that she was treated well.
I was treated like a goddess because I was 530 pounds.
And her bank account expanded, but so did the increased physical damage on her body, her mental health tanked, and of course, her health went down the drain.
But it came at a price, the price of my health.
I get into a super deep rabbit hole of this, but many people will take this to the extreme. As in death, there's like this.
All right, this is gonna be a death feederism trigger warning, because fuck this shit.
Full subcategory of this type of sick adoration.
If I'm being completely honest, if you look at me right now and you don't think this is hot AF, that sounds like your problem.
That pays you to literally take it to the grave.
Like, even watching that little clip, it just makes me so sad. It just makes me so sad because well, one, it's triggering to like certain types of content, but two, it's just like she deserves better. Not in relation to her body, but in the behavior that she's exhibiting in that video. I deserved better.
Called DEET, F-E-E-D-E-R-I-S-M. Getting very annoying to spell these out, but I mean, you know, it's helping my brain. I'm very bad speller. So surprisingly, both of these parties in the category get very turned on by the thought of passing away from overeating. And
assuming it's consensual. Most of the time, it's one party, because most people don't want to actually die.
Obesity. After hitting 400 pounds, I found myself getting more and more turned on by Death Eater. I kept imagining my last meal, my last steps, the last time I can move my arms, my last breath. If anyone would want to make me so huge I don't make it to 30, we should totally talk. This makes me think of my 600-pound life, because whenever
I was never into that shit. I would never even make content about it for money, and I got offered a lot of money to do it, and I wouldn't. That shit's gross. It's always been gross. And if you ever spoke out against death feederism in feederism forums, you would get like banned. Or I remember I got a 7-day ban once for just like saying that death feederism is bad, basically. Insane. Honestly, Kristen, like, I don't talk a bunch about that stuff, but I will talk about it a little bit right now. When it comes to ALR and all of that, I'm not necessarily worried, because I think that, like, I mean, I personally tried to warn her, like I did, and she is very adamant that she's not a feeder, and I'm personally of the belief that she's completely brainwashed and actually believes what she's saying. But I think that she's just gonna have to live her life, and she's going to have to live this plot, and this is the path she chose, and whatever happens is on her. She was warned. I wasn't warned. I didn't get a warning in my experiences. And then when I made the wrong choice that I made, I got to live with that. That's on me. And so that applies to ALR too. Tommy grosses me out. I literally I don't even watch much of the content anymore, any of the reactions of anything. And the little bits that I've seen, I literally get grossed out by her, like her aura is fucked up. That girl is bad news. Bad news. But we're going to get back to the video. I got to cough 1 second. I mean, she does know, but I think she really believes it's a lie. I just think she's, yeah. But I'm good on talking about her, but I just wanted to touch on that briefly because a lot of people were bringing it up in the comments of this video, and I think subconsciously it's because people align me and her just because of the, like, we both got dark hair, we're both, you know, similar sizing, and yeah.
Whenever we talk about that, we find that the person that's just literally a pancake in bed, can't move, can't do anything, has a significant other. Usually it's the women who have a significant other.
And I just sneak a little bit of it when no one's looking.
And maybe stash a little for later.
I see a lot of men in my comment section saying,
Ain't nobody want to date that. How the heck is she having?
first of all, there's someone for everyone. And second, it turns people on when someone is immobile. People will see people on my 600-pound life and say, absolutely, you can't move. That's my type. Maybe because they can't run, maybe because they're just helpless and they love to help because they're good people. I don't know, but I know that everyone has something about them that somebody likes. So if somebody tells you people think you're ugly, nobody's ever gonna want to date you. That's not true. This group isn't all about food though. You don't have to eat while you're on camera to make the big bucks. You can flop your belly around. But what's that? Your stomach's not big enough? Don't worry if it's not big enough. You know, if you haven't been eating enough to stick to this beauty standard. Well, there's a very simple way to make your stomach bigger through a process called inflation. Inflation is a process of blowing air into their stomachs with a pump to expand their stomach to appear fatter. Very, very simple to do, very life-threatening. But, you know, if you're in that death fat category, it can be exhilarating. For the person that's still alive as of right now, none of the participants who passed away from that process are here to give a public review. I wouldn't recommend it.
Yup. Like, it's crazy because when she asked me about inflation, I was just kind of like, that's random, but I see why. Had I realized the point she was going to make, I would have told her about what belly play is, because I don't even know if she knows. It's one of the easiest ways to make a lot of money when you're working in that sector. It's extremely easy and it's extremely popular. And that kind of was what she was alluding to when she transitioned into inflation, which I would have never touched with a 10-foot pole because of how dangerous it is. But also when you're someone as large as I was / am, inflation isn't as satisfying in terms of payoff, because when you're smaller and you do that, the roundness of the stomach is a lot more noticeable. Like if I were to do it, you would barely even see it because of just like my shape and the size of my stomach, which my stomach was probably one of my like biggest money makers back when I did SW work.
I do know what inflation is. I never participated in it. I never did it. I was never interested in partaking in it. Honestly, I feel like inflation is more geared towards the models that are more mid-sized, that are smaller than I am / was. But I know larger people who would do it, especially if they were on the more extreme sides of this community.
Reading up on this really put it in perspective about like channels like Foodie Beauty, Amberlynn Reed, especially Nico Avocado, who constantly messily eats, flops his gut around, and screams. I see people saying that he's pleasing people, but now reading about this, he's really pleasing people and how YouTube is set.
Nico Avocado's channel before the weight loss, I don't know what he's currently doing, but before the weight loss was 100% a soft fetish channel. Like 120,000%. The shit that he was doing was literally tabbing into so many different categories with the like immobility stuff, and just like the way that he portrayed himself was like the ultimate, like, honestly, I don't even know, softcore. It's just not nude, you know. It's just crazy. It's crazy that his content is still monetized to me. What in the living blue fuck? Wait, hold on. She was contained, yeah. Thank you, Fox Caps. What in the living blue fuck people do? What people do this for? Yeah. I'm also one of Michelle's subscribers, and when she explained how the fat acceptance community treats people who want to better themselves, it broke my heart. Everyone deserves to improve themselves. I agree. Yeah, he did do OnlyFans too. Yeah, no, Hungry Fat Chick started in SW and she moved to YouTube to try to get out of SW work. She was one of the like OG, like Candy Godiva is one of the OG fat models. That's crazy, Kristen. I didn't know that.
up, it is perfectly acceptable for the YouTube
eyes won't
algorithm
stop
and even
bleeding and my nose
child-friendly
is
to do these types of videos. So
my nose is still running and my eyes won't stop blinking. I'm not actually crying right now. I'm just like, my nose is still running. Honestly, I really need to like use the restroom. So I will be like right back. I just have to go run really fast. I'll be right back in like a couple minutes. All right, sorry about that. I just had to run to the restroom real fast. Jeopardy theme song. Sorry guys, I had to go. I was like, I'm gonna die. I agree, Diana. Hello, Mo. I came from Michelle's video. I've been listening for the past 20 minutes and want to say thank you for talking about your experience. I really feel for you, and it's important for people to hear about. Thank you so much. Oh, thank you, Pale Pink. Yeah, HFC is a whole situation. It's concerning. You did another 5K. That's awesome. I'm very pregnant and just got secondhand. I need to potty. That's funny. I'm so sorry. My nose is still runny, guys.
Not only are these videos getting picked up by the weirdos who like to see people die, but they're also getting picked up by all sorts of people who just enjoy people eating food, acting crazy, and it flies under YouTube's radar because this is actually breaking their own rules. Around 2023, YouTube actually started to fight back against EDs being glorified online. Do not post the following content. And under their terms and condition, it specifically says EDs or engaging in certain EDs. And at this time, many people thought, oh, that means the Nico Avocados, the Foodie Beauties who are literally binging themselves to death are now going to be having their channel jeopardized. But no, YouTube only meant one ED. You know, the one that they always like to pick on, Eugenia Cooney. As you can see, the glorification of overeating and obesity is at an all-time high on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and the algorithm absolutely loves it.
Hey, yo, I'm about to eat 4 pudding all by myself.
I would love to see if Eugenia Cooney did a no eating for 2 weeks type challenge on YouTube. How many people want to bet that that would get scrapped off of YouTube very quickly? But Foodie Beauty sitting there after she's talked about she's going to die soon, eating a table of food by herself, peachy keen. Peak content, mixing money, food, and people who most likely endured some type of trauma and multiplying by a serious overeating issue is grounds to keeping that individual in that community. And of course, inevitable health problems.
I think channels like Nikocado and Foodie Beauty or any of the extreme eating is dangerous. I don't think that a lot of people make the correlation about the rise of mukbang culture, how it coincides with the rise of this community within this more adult aspect and this darker aspect that realizes and eating.
And Rosie eventually got tired of it. She knew.
I'm going to talk about that for a second because as I've been like unpacking all of this, 2018 was the year that mukbanging became what it is today in the terms of the social zeitgeist of how this content like really impacts us. It started, honest to God, on the American side. It really exploded when Trisha Paytas got involved. There was other people too, but it was like these people just slowly started like I started hearing rumblings about like the mukbang culture of Korea, because it started out as like a simple thing where these like pretty girls would go on live stream and they would eat these big meals for all of these like lonely men who were unmarried and wanted someone to eat with. That was it. It was a lot simpler. It was kind of wholesome. It was just like culturally over in I believe it was Korea. I could be wrong. I'm like 99% sure it's Korea actually. But overseas they had a lot more of a culture that was based on a lot of like loneliness, and so this was a solution to that loneliness at mealtime for them. And then, like America does, it got bastardized by us, and it became about eating as much fast food as possible and all these like big portions of American food that's like extremely unhealthy. And yeah, there was a lot of like really big portions and probably some general unhealth before, when it was more in the Asian countries. But I kind of watched the snowball effect of like, I was watching mukbangs in 2018. By 2019, I was involved in feederism. Now, is that going to happen to everybody? No. It was a very unique set of circumstances for me. That's very obvious to me. But I then was a part of that community, and I've watched over the past 5 years how these conversations had become more normalized, how feederism has expanded, and how more and more people are being impacted by this, and women are dating men realizing they have these fetishes because there's more and more content available for it. There's more and more models getting involved, more and more fat people getting involved that are already fat like I was, from the money of it all, or eventually, like I unfortunately also did, like starting to go in for the money, and then it becomes a real thing because unbeknownst to me, I was dating a feeder the whole fucking time. And like all of these events transpired, right? And so I personally am of the belief that mukbanging has a connection in this, that this normalization and desensitization to how we view food and eat food as like a culture through the TikTok videos and the mukbangs on YouTube from back in the day, as well as currently. I just think it's really, really, really something that needs to be studied and understood more. Yes, Diana, I agree. That's good, Faith. Yeah, exactly, Diana. About Nikocado. Yeah. Something about I don't even think Trisha realizes like the cultural impact she had with that. Because really, when it comes to the American side, I'm not saying she's literally the first one that ever did it, but she's the one that put it on the map. Absolutely.
That she was going to die.
While I was in the process of filming these videos and making this kind of content, I experienced a lot of significant health issues. I developed diabetes to the point where I was struggling to stay upright and walk. I had to use a cane.
If she stayed. So in 2023, she decided to actually leave the community. Rosie also tries to warn women to leave the dangers of the eaterism community.
I also just struggled with major fatigue, and at this point in time, I struggle with a lot of different chronic illness things, some related to my CPTSD, but also to what I did to my body for years and years. And I have to just kind of come to terms with and accept the fact that there's a portion of this that is within my own responsibility.
And to tell women to stay away from the fat acceptance.
Accountability is really important to me. I try my best, and it's like, because obviously there has to be a sense of me actually owning it, understanding it, for me to hold myself accountable. And I feel like sometimes there's like stages of accountability where like I've had the time and I process certain parts, and then more time passes and I realize, oh, maybe I did have more stake in this than I initially thought. And continuing those conversations and understanding that, you know, like I do hold a responsibility in this, even though that there were things done to me and against my will that really colored and influenced a lot of things. That doesn't change the fact that there were decisions that I made. That doesn't change the fact that there were things that I could have done differently. Even though I may have been predisposed in some ways due to the trauma, or, you know, I was groomed into certain aspects by a specific perpetrator in my life, you know, like these kinds of things were things that deeply impacted me and deeply changed how I viewed all of these different topics, you know. And I can't go back and change what I did, but I can think back and change my perspective and grow through that, you know.
Community.
I implore and beg you to not join these communities. There's nothing that makes it worth it. It is just the short-term validation of artificial affection and the short-term dopamine.
Like, look at her. She's so sick. You know, like, it has nothing to do with her weight, even for me. Like, when you listen to her breathe, like, when you know that she tried to leave and couldn't because of the money, like, it's heartbreaking. I want better for her, you know? Like, Hungry Fat Chick's story just breaks my heart.
Mean hit of a binge fest.
But as we've seen in the past, leaving the fat acceptance community and the prism community was not easy. The people who once raised Rosie, loved Rosie, said that she was amazing, said that she was a goddess, and people who literally said that she was their friend quickly deemed Rosie undesirable and public enemy #1 very quickly.
When I realized how toxic the community was within my own personal experiences with others in the community, I realized I had to make a change. I had to get out.
Everyone should be a fat liberationist.
Seeing how others' health plays out 10, 15, 20 years in front of me is something that's very sombering, and a lot of people within these communities aren't willing to discuss or acknowledge and talk about.
Just because I'm fat, that doesn't invalidate the things that I say.
This body positivity TikToker lost her life before the age of 28 because of how heavy she got.
That's Brittany. Sick and tired of waiting. Her death shook me. She was 28.
I knew I couldn't make the changes and stay.
Like, I have distanced myself from people after they lose weight.
You can be healthy in any size body, and yes, that includes a fat body.
Weight does not equate to health.
That change had to be dramatic because I don't want to die. And that's just the reality of it.
Through the years, body positivity and fat acceptance have shifted. It was a place of your body, your choice. You know, it's a cute group of women that made you feel that you were part of something, a place that you were welcomed in, a place finally for women that had similar struggles and stories, and you don't have to listen to anyone else but yourself.
I really feel like in the beginning, I and many others that were there along with me had the best of intentions.
These groups made a lot of women who felt lost and undesirable to feel okay that they were the way that they were. Keep in mind, most of those people have EDs and they are being masked by self-love.
I absolutely had a community of people where we all kind of self-validated each other and pushed information towards each other that ultimately kind of kept us down.
But these groups quickly turned toxic.
But honestly, the road to hell can be paved with the best of intentions, and that's kind of what I feel like happened there. I think a lot of the toxicity.
The road to hell is paved with the best of intentions is a line that hits so hard. Not to like be self-congratulatory or anything, but I forgot I had said that. because it'd been a while since I filmed these clips, and I heard myself say that this morning. I was like, damn, that's a good line. I should like write that one down. Actually, I did. I think it was from my journal, if I remember right, because before this interview, I had journaled like 8 pages of stuff, and I reread the journal, and certain things I had written down, I made sure to kind of naturally work into the conversation, and I think that was one of them.
Honestly, the road to hell can be paved with the best of intentions, and that's kind of what I feel like happened there. I think a lot of the toxicity gets rooted in the fact that nobody in fat acceptance or body positivity can agree on what we stand on what we stood for.
A group that frolics on TikTok, shows their tummies some love, and is so accepting to women of size, became a community of jealousy, anger, and fighting. Someone's not fat enough. The bigger you are, the more superior you are.
I think another layer of the toxicity is the hierarchy within fat spaces. Whenever it comes to the small fats versus super fats or bigger fats, there's like a whole spectrum to that within the community of classification.
I do not interact with mid-size creators. And the reason for that being is that I think mid-size has really turned into this, it's like this weird in-between of women who think that they are fat, even though they fall under standard sizing.
That I really feel like
high key, no disrespect. I would need to see her body more from that angle. But when she said that, I looked at her, I was like, you look like you're mid-sized or like only slightly larger than mid-sized, at least from that angle. And I was like so confused, but that's just kind of me also talking on my ass. Like if I was thinking from like, if I was back in that old mindset, I would look at that and be like, what are you talking about? You're talking like you're a 6X or something, and you're clearly not. So I thought that was really weird, personally. But also it's like, you're not going to talk to people like that are a certain size. That's legitimately cult mentality. Like that's crazy.
Becomes very toxic for the small fats, where it's kind of centered around that super fats are a higher authority on the fat experience and higher on the oppression totem pole. So we are a more authoritative voice on the experience, and in a most inclusive fat spaces, it is expected that small fats are basically never supposed to overtalk super fats.
And I agree, people who are falling into this size range probably shouldn't be aligning themselves with fatness.
We saw this a lot through the years. It got so bad that they decided to come up.
Genuine question, sizes 6 to 10, because like I thought that clip was interesting. Sizes 6 to 10 are not fat, right? That's standard. Is that like fat rhetoric, Rosie, coming out? Or like, I thought that was like normal sizing. Like, it's not plus sizing, right? I was like so confused with that clip. Like, just within context. Because within context, it says sizes 6 to 10. I was a little confused by that, the use of that clip, if I'm being honest with you. But that's kind of a nitpick, if I'm being real. Yeah, 6 to 10 is normal. Yeah. That's like, I was like, I don't think that's fat. Serious question. At your high weight, what was your position on the totem pole? Like over 500? Pretty damn high. There's not many people that are larger than 500 pounds that, like, I was pretty much on the top of the totem pole when it comes to the Fat Oppression Olympics. You know what I mean? I love journaling. I agree with you, Lynn, on like the dual sides there. It is very much a toxic environment. Oh goodness, Lee. That's crazy. Mostly affecting women. You were right about that. It does affect some men, but yeah, it's mostly affecting women and AFAB people. Why do people always turn everything to shit? Body positivity, aka not bullying other human beings for their weight or any other reason for that matter. How can you make that so toxic? I know. She's so young, dude. Oh God. I followed her for a while before she died. I can't. Sam's video about her broke me. Yeah, okay, so I guess that the context of that clip was a little off for me. Hello, Savage. AFAB is I think it's a female assigned at birth, or I forget what the first A is. But hey, Maybella, good to see ya. Good to see ya. But assigned female at birth. Oh God. Duh. I said it right before you hit send, Chris. There might be a delay, but yeah, it's assigned female. I was like, my brain malfunctioned for a second there. I think that's just me being tired.
With a chart that you saw in the beginning, and you probably said infinity fat. What do you mean, Michelle? Why did you make up this chart? That's not me. That is not my making. I did not use Photoshop to chart what type of fatness people are. The fat acceptance community did, so that people can stay in line and they can say, oh, let me look at you. You're a small fat. You have no opinion on this issue. This is for the infinity fat. Know your place. So the small fats were on the bottom of the oppression totem pole. Then the mid fats, super fats. Think like Samira, the whole girl that raps about plus sizes.
Plus sizes, they said big bag get to the bed.
And of course, the top are the infinity fat. The biggest victims of fat phobia. The women that have the hardest time finding clothes, even online.
You know what's so interesting is I was technically an infinity fat for a long time, but I always called myself a super fat because I fucking hated the word infinity fat. I've always hated the word infinity fat. I think the word infinity fat is so fucking stupid. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. It's so dumb. I don't like the way it sounds. I think it's weird. I think all the other terms had, like, back in the mindset I was in, like, those terms made sense to me, but we went from super fat to infinity fat. Like, what? Infinity fat? It's like, oh, what?
And often requires custom sizing.
Why do I gotta get it in the mail?
And you know how much they get irritated when someone who's 500 plus pounds walks.
I love small fat. Small. That's like crazy that happened, Chris. Yep, an acceptance community with a hierarchy, right? I'm just glad more people are trying to leave this community. Yeah, I've had a lot of people like approach me in DMs and stuff. Cause like I'm known as like the girl who like left feederism that everybody in those communities like hates. So if they want to leave, they'll come to me and DM me about it, you know. And I help them.
Walks into a Walmart and can't find a dress because that's normal. I would personally think that if I had a very unique body, and I'm someone who usually can't find a lot of clothes because I'm short, I'm stout, I have a smaller waist, big hips, wide shoulders. Usually a lot of things don't fit me all that very well. So, you know, I take up sewing, I find clothes that fit me a lot better and just order online. To this community, oh, they're being oppressed.
15,000 brands and only 2.5% carry plus brands.
This once upon joyful group who used to say, don't listen to the public, listen to yourself and look the way that you want to, turned into listen to the people at the top, and if you leave or bring up health, you are scum.
A lot of the small fats would get banned from these like plus size spaces if they ever basically overtalked super fats or made super fats feel like they were not being validated or understood, or like they were trying to compare their experiences as a small fat to a super fat, because it's just not the same.
So when I was speaking to Rosie and she elaborated how it was in the fat acceptance community, it all just reminded me a lot of any other group. And what does any other group remind me of? High school.
Oh my God, I love your skirt. Where did you get it?
And what happens in high school? Bullying.
That is the ugliest effing skirt I've ever seen.
And interestingly enough, Rosie said she was one of the bullies.
Honestly, the reality is many years ago, even though I may not remember specific interactions, I'm absolutely certain that I was bullying small fats, not even realizing that's what I was doing, feeling like I was defending myself and justifying and kind of spearheading for the super fat experience, and I guess in a way playing the oppression Olympics, which I'm embarrassed by. I absolutely would talk down to and condescend on people speaking out about their own experiences, trying to compare them to people like mine. And, you know, honestly, if any of those people ever watching, or anyone who's ever been treated that way, I just want to say, like, I'm sorry, because that's not okay, and that is toxic, and it's a projection of like my own issues at the time, my own lacking of understanding of who I was and how I acted around other people. And it was a very, very common theme among a lot of people within fat acceptance, especially those that had platforms.
In the fat,
I wanted to play that whole clip before I paused. Because for one, I think that was kind of the angle where she kind of went with that's the clip that she referenced basically for the title of this video. And I just think it's really important to note, like I even said in that clip, it wasn't that I was just like being a mean girl, but that kind of went with the theme of her video, right? So I get that makes sense to me, but it was more like, oh, I think you're wronging me in some way because it's like you talking about your experience is somehow demeaning mine. And that was like the faulty logic that's based within that fat acceptance rhetoric within the whole super fat hierarchy situation that I was discussing. Being like, how dare you try to like tell me that your situation is so much worse from mine when you're like a size 16 and can get clothes anywhere and I'm, whatever, like that whole thing. And I also wanted to play the part where, because like I genuinely meant that apology, because when I think back on that, I can't remember anything I said specifically, but I know I used to get in like Facebook arguments with people, and I would be like catty and mean and about these things when I felt justified to be able to, but it wasn't cute. It was immature. I definitely feel like I'm someone who had to grow up and be wise beyond my years, but that also is something like when it comes to trauma where that happens, but at the same time, you're also like emotionally stunted. And I feel like that was very much me and something I still may be, aligned with in certain ways. But now that I'm 32, my emotional stuntedness is catching up a little bit, But for me, it's just like, it's important that I recognize those things and hold myself accountable to those things, because they certainly no longer define me, and they're no longer things that I currently subscribe to. And there are things I do feel bad about and I am like a little embarrassed about. Wait, what? I got 200 members? Hold on. Scroll up. Oh no, it didn't show me. Oh no, it didn't show me. First of all, thank you so much. So who got the members? I'm assuming it was Maybella. I'm going to scroll up again. Hold on. Oh, yes. Okay. Yes, Maybella, 5 gifted memberships. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh. Can you guys tell me the names of that who got the memberships? Because it's not showing me. Seeking it in while you were distracted. She sure did. Maybella. Oh my gosh. Everybody send hearts in the chat for Maybella. She's one of my biggest supporters. She is like the reason I've hit 200 members. She's been gifting memberships like crazy. She is so lovely and kind to me and just an amazing human being. Just like the Italian grandma I could have always wanted and needed. That's awesome. Thank you so much, Maybella. Oh my God, how cool. Okay. I'd love to know who got the memberships, but... Oh, I can check later. That's true. I can check later. I just can't shout them out right now. Anywho.
Acceptance community, the topic is always fatness. You steer away from the topic, no, you got to bring it back to fatness.
Start following the fat girls that you see on your For You page. Start following them.
Fat people are the hottest people alive.
How great fatness is, how great you feel, how liberated you're feeling. The ultimate kick to the butt, or maybe the heart, is bringing up weight loss or health or your knees hurting.
Then you have to stop using the word obese.
That gives them an instant heart attack.
You could not mention weight loss in any capacity.
The fact that there are influencers who built gigantic followings based on their conversations around body positivity, healing your relationship with food and with exercise.
Maybella! When you need help, Maybella is there. Yes. Elle Bell, Nicole, Domino Wolf, Brandon Q, and Sugar. Oh my gosh. Such a rock star. Amazing. So that's now 10. Girl. Thank you. Oh my goodness. Lots of memberships. Lots of people get to try it out. And if you like it, you can always renew if you like the benefits of it. But oh my goodness, you'll get access to all the past lives and everything. Oh my gosh. So what? That means we're at like almost 210. Yeah, or like 207 or something. You're amazing, Maybella. Oh my god, thank you. Yeah, I used to throw out my back a lot in my mid-20s, but it's gotten better, actually.
Who have now done a complete 180 and are now talking about weight loss medication.
You couldn't mention it in passing. You couldn't post about it. You couldn't do anything. You would get banned if you ever did. It didn't matter if you were a diabetic.
So intentional weight loss is fat phobic.
If you were struggling to walk, it didn't matter any of it. You were not allowed to even say the words weight loss surgery in most of these groups. And this was very normalized within fat acceptance spaces that I was a part of and what I participated in.
We've seen this so many times with what they would call fat icons when they start losing weight. It feels like a movie with an odd plot, and I'm just saying, what is this? Why is this a topic for you? Why are you so upset? But we saw it with Rebel Wilson. We've seen it with Adele. We saw it with certain influencers where they were so loved by this community. And
I remember when Adele lost the weight. I remember I made a whole post because I was like, I wasn't mad at Adele. I was mad about the way the world was handling the conversation, if that makes sense. Like, because I remember, because Adele is so fucking talented and amazing and incredible woman. And all of a sudden, she was just being treated like so much better. Even though she was someone that was beloved and well-liked, she was like, hold on. Hold on, sorry. Okay, I can't talk about that then. Okay, never mind. Sorry. All right. 1 second.
Loved whatever they did. They loved that they did whatever they wanted with their bodies. And the moment they start losing weight or saying, oh, I couldn't get pregnant because of my obesity, because I wasn't, they get casted out so quick. All of a sudden, all the TikToks come up. Cancel. Done. Almost as if they're dead to them.
As if they've died.
While Rosie was still being a mean girl, she eventually started to shift. She was having health problems. She noticed the toxicity in the group. The group wasn't even fun anymore. And she went from don't speak over us infinity fats to if people want to lose weight, why can't they? And she even started calling out the hypocrisy inside of the group of people saying your body, your choice.
I would just say things like, if people want to lose weight, they should be able to. If people can get gauges and tattoos, they should be allowed to change their body any way they see fit. You're pro plastic surgery, but you're against weight loss as a totality. It makes no sense. You're for bodily autonomy, but against weight loss. Again, makes no sense.
And something we've also seen are people who seem to be afraid to leave the community. And this is what creates that fear to lose weight.
I've recently had women and AFAB people approach me who are terrified about their audience's response to them talking about the fact that they want to lose weight at all. at all.
Many of these people felt alone already before the community. Their bodies were not accepted by society. They were told they were ugly, worthless. They were nothing close to the beauty standard. And they found this community that made them feel amazing. It made them feel good, made them feel worthy. People that related to them, they could share stories. They could feel the fat girl joy. And they want to keep that feeling, but they can only stay if they are once again this community's beauty standard. And they want to keep that community, but also they know when they turn off that TikTok camera and stop that fat girl joy, reality starts to set in and fat girl joy goes down the drain and your knees start hurting.
You people can call me a fat girl all you want. I watched my grandfather have a stroke and almost fall and break his neck, and my uncle caught him. Had 15 plus strokes, had to relearn how to read, walk, talk. He couldn't even read anymore. He could barely walk, he could barely talk, he could barely feed himself.
You get out the car and you take a few steps and you can't breathe. So what do? They either start to lose weight and get accused of becoming the beauty standard of the world, or they have to continue being this beauty standard of this community, or they do something else. They say they're just making small changes in their lifestyle.
They feel like they have to say like, oh, I'm losing weight for health reasons. I'm not, I'm trying to just make. Or the big one is, the big thing that's happening in a lot of the community right now is like, oh, I'm not intentionally losing weight. I'm just changing my lifestyle.
Sound familiar?
I can't roll my eyes hard enough.
Tess Holiday with her anti-inflammatory diet, or even Lizzo for a while now. She was saying, I'm not trying to lose weight. I love being fat. I'm just working out, eating a little less, making some dietary changes. And if I lose weight, that's just what happens.
Somebody called me skinny on the internet. I said, bitch, where? If anything, I am thick, fat and thick. That is FHICK.
And don't forget, some people are meant to be fat. Like all of the people that follow me, you are meant to be fat. But if I lose weight, it just kind of happens. But yours is for genetics. Okay, let's move on.
Ain't nobody asked you if you could lose weight or not. Plus, first off, you're a man.
They're monetarily motivated to pander to these people. And that is just the bottom fucking line. And I didn't see that. These people that I once was, that believed that I was some anomaly, that like genetically I'm predisposed to being fat and I'm always going to be fat even if I lose the excess amount of fatness.
Second off, you're genetically predisposed to be an athlete.
So if I lose weight, like just know it's not an intentional weight loss journey. And it's like, that's baffling fat.
So after Rosie left Fat Acceptance, you know what happened? The girlies didn't take it very well, and the men really did not take it well. She's been being bullied for a while.
When I came out about leaving Fat Acceptance, that was when I had people coming out of the woodwork saying really nasty things to me in my comments. I was accused of being anti-Black for speaking out about how these communities impacted me, just because I wanted to express like my authentic experiences and realizing who I am and who I want to be, and that no longer aligned, and that I had been some level of toxic to allow these kinds of people to be in my inner circle, that I had some level of toxicity I needed to check and heal within myself because of how I was behaving and what I was doing before I had my wake-up call.
But the constant lies, the bullying, the massive amount of messages that she was receiving daily, both from angry people threatening her if she loses weight, she's gonna be in a lot of trouble.
They made up lies saying that I was lying about being disabled. What hurt so much was that they were the only people in the world that had seen me use the cane and knew that I was going through that before I ever posted that photo.
Angry messages.
So there was a lot of context missing with this clip, because I wasn't just talking about YouTube comments. That clip, I was talking about people I knew in real life. People that really, really, really fucked me over. And this next part is about them too, because they quite literally used their platforms and went on a smear campaign saying I was lying about my disability issues and that I wasn't disabled and that I was basically using a cane for attention and all these things when I was sick. I was actually sick and I didn't know what was wrong yet at the time. And it was like one of the most horrible things anyone's ever done to me. To go on the internet and make up such a bull-faced lie, knowing full and goddamn well I sat in your house and I was using your cane more than you used your own damn cane. And you really went out and said that I was like lying about how, like, about using cane, saying, and I quote, that they had never seen me use a cane, knowing good and goddamn well that I used their cane more than they did in their own home. And that is something that will always stick with me as one of the nastiest, most hateful, and malicious things anyone has ever done to me, especially someone that once called me their friend. Evil. That's evil shit. That is evil shit to do to somebody.
Just from people saying your body, your choice, but also stay the same. They are beauty standards.
It was really cruel. Like, it was.
Lydia, I actually do have an Amazon wish list. It is linked in my link tree, which is in the description. Can we just address how racist it is to say being fat is natural for Black people? The racism tale is racist in itself. Yeah, Rain, and I feel like a lot of like Black people share that sentiment. I try to honestly not get too deep into that topic as a white person. I just don't think that's necessarily my place. In general, I would say I agree. I think I don't know if it's necessarily, I don't know if it's my place to say whether it's racist or not, but I do think it's problematic. Absolutely. I would have been shocked if you didn't have some form of assistance with mobility at that time. That's terrible that people would lie like that for clout. Yeah, it was because, and it wasn't even just because of my weight. It was the unchecked diabetes. That was a big problem. That was a big problem for me. The unchecked diabetes was making me so like dizzy. I couldn't stand up straight. Michelle, yeah, and she does. Yeah, and that's why I brought that up to her, because I was called anti-Black for speaking out against fat acceptance. Like, that was all I did. Nothing about, I was so confused when it first happened because I never brought up like Black women or anything to do with race at any point.
It was malicious and it was cruel.
It did not stop her. She left that community. I want to say that she ran. Rosie, did you run? I feel like she got the motivation to run out of that community.
I don't run much else in life, but I ran the fuck away from that. I sure did.
And speed up to recent days, she's working on her mental health along with her physical health. She lost an amazing amount of weight, and of course, she is still struggling, but it's only been a small amount of time. I personally think that we should all stand up. Everyone, get up, and let us all applaud Rosie for being in a community that many don't leave because of peer pressure. As adults, y'all, many of these people are like out of high school. Peer pressure. What is peer pressure? Get out of the community. She got out from peer pressure, the money, the willingness to be accepted by people that once said that loved her, and pretty much said, F that. If y'all don't accept me, other people will. And from there, she started her own YouTube channel where you can hear more of her stories through vlogs. She talks about her time in fat acceptance, and you can see her on to her road to health. I know it's an extremely hard journey. There's gonna be so many bumps in her road and setbacks, but she has so much of a better chance now that she's out of that one mindset, that community, and of course, that community known as the fat acceptance community.
I implore and beg you to not join these communities.
Hey guys, give me a follow. Thank just being funny. But y'all definitely make sure to follow Michelle. That's her name right here. Give her a follow. I'll put the link in the chat again. That's the video in question.
Well, that was the story of Rosie Jean, an ex-mean girl of the fat acceptance community that broke free and is trying to warn others to stay away, get out. And I really couldn't be more happy for her. And I hope you guys are leaving wonderful comments in the comment section. Just, pumping up.
You have. Thank you. On both her and my newest video. Thank you.
Up our girl, rooting for her, screaming, "Don't go back, Rosie! Don't do it!" Now, this was supposed.
I will actually die before I go back. That will never happen.
supposed to be the end of the Mean Girls of Fat Acceptance. But then one of the past Mean Girls that we talked about came back with a situation that highlights why she is probably one of the top Mean Girls. No, the final boss of Mean Girls in this community. And her little minion don't help. They just clap her on. That's right.
Yeah, I wonder, I don't know what situation she's talking about, but Samira makes a lot of videos like where people are just like talking against her, where she just sits there and like silently judges them like while they talk, and it's just like she just sits there, she doesn't say anything, and then like all of her like fans go after them, which is interesting. Sometimes the people that she does that to do say really fucked up stuff. I don't know, when you have a really large platform, that's just an interesting way of using it, in my opinion. Thank you so much, Ryan. That end cap brought me here. Oh, awesome. No dying, I promise. I feel so amazing to leave toxic friends in the dust. Absolutely. I'm not sure, Vicky. I'm deciding. What do you think? Are you like? I was thinking about getting on my phone. Oh, you're back. You left us up to Michelle. That's awesome. Any person who judges someone who wants to be healthy needs to check themselves. I'm thinking about ending this live and going into my phone to make the cupcakes before I go to bed. Have like a fun little late night live. Unless y'all are tired of me, because I have been live so much today. So, and thank you, Jamie. I really appreciate that. But I like don't want to lug my laptop. Yes, do that. Like do the cupcakes. Okay. Because I'm like, are y'all sick of me yet? Oh, that's awesome. Thank you, Faith. What time is it? Okay. All right. It is 9:50 right now. I'm going to take a second. I'm going to end this live here in a moment. And I'm going to set a live for 10:15 on my phone. Let me plug my phone back in. Oh, my phone is like full. Okay. Actually, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to set a timer for 10:15. 10:15 p.m. We're going to do one more late night little live. Thank you guys so much. You just got out of the shower, so I have time to chill for a bit. Awesome. We're going to do the cupcakes. So 10:15 Eastern time is literally like 25 minutes. I just need to stop talking for a little bit. My jaw hurts. Girl, I don't sleep. I have a toddler. Okay, so everybody, make sure you've like eaten. Make sure you're drinking your water. Take your meds if you have them. Like, do whatever you got to do. Hey, Yessie. Everyone, it's time to drink water and take your meds. No arguing. Yes, yes, yes. So, have some tea, hang out a little bit, maybe like watch a short little show or another YouTube video that's mine or not mine. You know, it depends on how much you love me. Jokes. But also, if you've been watching me for the past like 7+ hours off and on, you're welcome to watch something else that's not me. But I will be back at 10:15, and I really appreciate you guys so much. So we're gonna do all this. This has been a marathon of lives today. Y'all rock. Thank you so much. I'm gonna end the stream here, and I will see you in about 20 minutes. Later.